Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video we're going to be looking at turn 3 of the first battle of season 2 of my Rome in Iberia campaign. And since it's turn 3, we're going to have to do a few things that I've set up in the campaign. A quick review, I'm using this as a problem solving exercise. And so let's get into what needs to be done first, and then we'll get into some of the on-table action, and we'll see how the results turn out. But first off, we have to take a look at my objective markers. As you can tell in the middle, I've already rolled to see if they've moved. Now, a quick review is these objective markers are set 1 foot in on each of the 2 foot. I'm playing on basically a 4x6 table, so it's broken down into 3 2x4 sections. Each one is on my opponent's side of the table, 1 foot in the middle of each 2x4 foot section. Then I roll a dice, a die 4, and they are numbered 1, 2, and 3. And if I roll the number that the objective marker is in, it remains stationary. If I roll a different number, say a 2 or a 3, then that objective marker moves, causing me to have to adjust my tactics and my strategy to try to capture them. All right, so on a roll of a 4, though, they don't move at all. Or if I roll the same number that it's already in the position that it's in, it doesn't move. So basically you got a 50-50 chance it's going to move around a little bit. So I rolled, and here we have the positions that they've ended up. Both the gold and the bronze have moved to the central position, and the silver has moved to my far right on the opposite side of the building. So no objectives are on my far left, which if my off-table units come in, that's one of the positions that they could come in. And I guess I should elaborate on that just a little bit. I numbered each side of the table. Basically, from my left, it goes 1, 2 is directly in front of me, 3 is to my right, and 4 is on my side of the table. Now I'll roll that die 4, and that's where my off-table units will come in. Again, this is all about problem solving and trying to adjust tactics and strategies to try to achieve this objective. It's not about really how many units I can destroy or whatever, but my goal is to do that. My basically AI opponent, the opposite, the force I'm playing against, it just needs to destroy 3 of my divisions to win. And the way the first 2 turns turned out, they're very close to achieving that goal right now. So I'm going to roll to see if my off-table units come in, and then we will get right back to the table. Okay, we're back, and it's a disastrous roll for the Iberians. They did not have any of their off-table units come in. So they're going to have to try to figure out some way to get these guys to hold for another turn, and hopefully those units will come in, because it's we're on the back foot right now. And so we're going to move some stuff around here. Move our light over here out of the way. Ooh, low, dark on that side. And then we're going to turn the camera a little bit so we can look down on this side of the table. And here we go. My Iberian left. And this commander, even though he's my unreliable ally with only a leadership of 7, he's the one that's he's done the best. He's at least thwarted the Roman effort in the first couple of turns. He's fought them to a standstill. So what we're going to do here, we're going to roll for some orders. I've thought about my strategy here as I've looked at the table, and I'm going to roll some dice, and we're going to come back and we're going to discuss what I chose to do. All right, here we are on my Iberian far left. We've used initiative moves. Let's move the camera just a bit. You can see that the light infantry and the skirmishing javelin have moved up to support the Scutari that are fighting the, let's see, that would be the 3rd cohort in my legion, and they are supported by their commander. Over here, I used a regular order to move my light infantry and light cavalry into a position to engage the Romans moving through the woods, to try to slow them down and try to prevent them from getting into the combat. Now, obviously, a formed unit isn't too concerned about this. If I have to, I will sacrifice my light cavalry and light infantry to try to hold them up if I have to, but we're going to do some shooting first. Hopefully I can roll some 6s and get them to at least maybe back up or hold or something. But right now, their goal is to just to try to hold up that 1st cohort in the woods as much as possible. All right, so let's move on down to the other part of the table, the center, and we'll look at, there's very few moves really that have to be done, but we will take a look at that next. We'll move the camera. All right, here we are. We're back in the center of the combats. At the order phase, we're going to have the unit commander and that unit of open order light infantry charge into the flank of that Roman cohort, and hopefully be able to help out their beleaguered comrades before they get charged and flanked by that cavalry unit, which you'll get to see in just a second. So let me go ahead and move them, because we're going to be using our initiative to make this move happen, and the commander is going to join in that combat as well. All right, here we are back in the middle. We see the movement of the Central Division commander and his light infantry charging the flank of the Romans. The slingers to the top of the screen for the Iberians, they're just going to fire on the Roman allied archers. And as you can tell, the Roman cohort with the blue shields have pushed this unit of Scutari and their supports all the way back to the table edge. I need an awful lot to happen for me here on this one. Yeah, this is going to be bad in a hurry if these 2 units break and run off the table. It's going to be awful. So let's move on down to the Iberian right, and we can see if our Iberian general can actually get his shit together and get out of the woods. Well, on this side, I decided to do a follow me order with my Iberian commander, and since he's already been joined with this unit, so they are going to pass with that roll of a 4, as you can see in the bottom left of the screen, and they are going to charge that horde of Gallic allies, the unit, well, it's the units that's allied to the Romans, and we're going to see if we can at least hold up this division's advance and possibly even win the combat. But I did pass. I get my 3 moves. One move will be to change formation as I move through the woods, and then the rest of the move will get there because I'm within 2 feet of that unit. It doesn't look like it on the camera, but as I measured it out, it's exactly 2 feet. So we'll be well, not 2 feet. What am I talking about? A foot, 2 moves. Well, I wish it was a 2-foot move, but no. So let me get these units moved into position, and then we can get on to some shooting and some combat. All right, we're back. The moves are done. As you can see, the one shaken unit could not join that combat and support the Iberian commander, because shaken units cannot charge and shaken units cannot move into combat to support. So they're just kind of going to hang out there until, I don't know, he can either rally them or the game ends, because they're really going to be kind of useless unless somebody comes and gets them. Well, anyway, but the other unit, I used an initiative move to move up and support. Now, here's my question. If I do a follow me order first, it's not like a division order. So he takes his own unit and moves. Could the other unit who's within of movement to use their initiative, move into support. So what I did, I rolled a dice because I wasn't quite sure. I couldn't quite find what I was looking for in the rule book. So whenever I have a area of disagreement with this or a question, I'll just roll the dice to see. And it came up that they could move up in support. So, but if anybody knows, leave a comment down below for sure. Or what do you guys do? How do you guys resolve that sort of thing? So what we're going to do is we're going to go through, do some shooting first. And if anything really cool happens in the shooting, which I don't see how it can, I've only got one real couple of units that can shoot, and I really doubt if they do that much damage to the Roman cohort. So, but if it does, we'll come back and take a look at it. But we'll do a quick review of the shooting phase. I'll be right back. And just like I thought, nothing of consequence in the shooting phase. So now we're going to move into the Iberian combat phase. And let's just start with where we're at right now with the camera, and we'll do our Iberian general and his 2 units against that big horde of Roman allies. And let's see what happens here. Let me roll some dice, and I'll be right back. All right, so this is a big deal. The Iberian general and his units were able to cause the horde of with a war band for the Roman allies to become shaken on the first turn. They did 7 points of damage, and they've already got 1 point of damage. So yeah, it's so they're now shaken. Now we're going to do their return attacks, and let's just see what they can able to do. All right, we rolled the return. Oh, bump the camera. We rolled the return attacks by the warband. They were able to do 1 point of damage to the Iberian Scutari, which doesn't surprise me any. I mean, they needed a 5+, and they rolled horrible for them. I'm, awful. Oh, you know what? Next game I got a different plan I'm going to use. It's going to be funny. Anyway, I digress. Anyway, so the Iberians and the Iberian commander, they win the combat. He put in 2 attacks, so I need to see if my, and since we did take damage, I get to see if my general took damage. And I roll, and no, he does not. So let's take a break test for this group of warriors here on this Allied Roman division, and I'll get right back to you. All right, so I rolled a 10 for the warband on their break test, but because they lost by 6, that made it a 4. But because they were shaken, that means that they break. And then we need to roll for the supports, and they break as well. So let us move those off the table, and I think I don't think I can move forward. I could, I guess, move forward and take out that, maybe that Illyrian light infantry, but we'll see. I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna decide what I need to do, and I'll be right back. All right, we're back. So I want to look something up. In the old rules, in the first edition of Hail Caesar, when you made a sweeping advance, you had the test for disorder. Well, I read the rules, and I didn't see that in the second edition. So with no this unit not being in combat already, we did the sweeping advance into an enemy that is not engaged in a combat, and so therefore we fight this combat right now. Although this unit, it's a standard size unit with long spears, I will not get my charge bonuses for these, like all the, the re-roll and all, and that hitting on the 3+ and all that kind of stuff for the Iberian Generals unit. So this might turn out more interesting than what it looks like. So let me roll the dice for this combat, and I'll be right back. All right, we're back. The Iberian Generals unit won the combat by just one. They forced the Illyrian infantry to become disordered and to fall back one move. Um, I'm not sure if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but we stayed in contact. We followed up. So we'll see in the Roman part of turn two, turn three, what happens. So let's move on down and finish some more combats up, some ongoing combats, and we'll see how this one turns out. All right, we're back. A lot of dice rolling, a lot of units moving, and a lot of units that aren't on the table anymore. So let's start over here on our right of the screen, and we see that Roman unit cohort has turned because it has defeated a light infantry unit to its front. It's not really concerned with the two shaken units of open order light infantry. They would have to, you can't really give them orders to charge unless you go up into them. They're really not going to be a threat anymore, so they're going to turn and face and try to run down the Iberian general, because that's what I would do. Towards the center, this is where it got a little bit interesting. There was a close combat between the Scutari and one of the Roman cohorts, and the Scutari got supported by a charging units of light infantry into the flank of that Roman cohort, which basically tipped the scale because the Iberians were able to win the combat by one. Disastrous break test rolling for the Romans, and they broke. So one cohort down. Then we move over to where the Roman cohort with the blue shields was fighting. It was a fairly close combat as well, but even though they destroyed the two units that were in front of them, they became shaken because they were already at 5. They received one more point of damage, becoming shaken. So in the combat, they too had to take a break test, and they backed up one move. But they are in good order, but they are now shaken. So now we have to move all the way over to the Iberian left and get that combat in before we move to the Roman turn. So let's move on down and take care of that bit. Okay, we're back. And in this combat with the Roman cohort with the white shields and the black trim, that would be my third cohort. They won the combat, forced the Iberians back. For this being my unreliable ally, he's doing some awfully good service. He's hanging in there. Yeah, the Iberians lost the combat by 3, but I rolled a 10 for them, which is a 7, and so they fell back in good order with supports. And on the far left, up in the woods, there's no combat going on. So this ends the Iberian part of turn 3, and we will move on to the Roman part of turn 3. All right, we're back. Roman orders phase is over with. Kind of disastrous, some initiative moves up here or by the Romans with the first cohort in the yellow shields. They just turn to face these light infantry and light cavalry that are a threat in their flank and rear, so just trying to make it harder for them to get around. The commander of this division tried to do a follow me order for that, what would be the second cohort, to get into this combat down here, and help this third cohort with the white shields, or move over. I was thinking moving over more towards the center, but he failed miserably. So that was the end of that. I tried to get the army general to come down off the hill and roll his follow me order for that unit. So let's move this camera up. You can't quite see them. That unit that's in the cultivated field, he tried to get them to do a follow me order, and he failed as well. Even with the general's reroll, he failed. My God. Anyway, and then the unit commander gave an order for the archers to move in support of that unit that failed, and they were able to move over. And that unit that was victorious against the light infantry, let's turn the camera just a bit. You can see that unit right there up by the pond. They are moving to attack the Iberian general in the rear, but that'll depend on if that one unit can hold them in place. So we shall see, we shall see. But again, we're getting really close here, and then some charges by the Allied Roman cavalry into this unit of Scutari that are towards the front, well, the bottom part of the picture here. And then we all just have remaining combats and a little bit of shooting. So let's get into the shooting part, which is just going to be that one unit of Allied archers. They're going to be shooting at the Iberian slingers. So let's take care of that. And the rest of the shooting, and I'll just go ahead and roll for the combats, and then we'll bring this turn to an end. All right, so just in the shooting phase, to give a little note, not much happened except for the Roman Allied archers were able to force the slingers of the Iberians to flee, but in good order. And then they were shot at again by another archer unit, but that unit didn't do any damage to them. But yeah, they're good for support and nothing else right now. So we'll see what they can do in the next Iberian phase. But now that's all the shooting. So now we need to move into the combat phase. And this is going to be very, very tight, I think, in a lot of places. So let's roll some dice. Let's, just for fun, we will start here on the Iberian left with my unreliable ally, and who's been probably one of the most reliable throughout the game. So let's roll this dice here, and then we'll move towards the center. Well, my unreliable ally, who was, well, basically my most reliable component of my army, finally was defeated and destroyed by this third cohort. They just mopped them up, along with all their supports and the commander, everything. They were just destroyed outright. And so the cohort has turned to face towards the Iberian right, the Roman left, to try to come to some assistance. Now the next combat, let's just move the camera a bit, and there we have the Allied Gallic cavalry for the Romans. Oops, turn that so it's not looking so weird. Okay, so charging in against this infantry unit, they were able to do a couple of points of damage to them and their supports, and the Iberians in return were able to do 3 points of damage, which causes the Gallic Allied cavalry of the Romans to become shaken. The Iberians have won this combat by 1, so we need to do a break test. And since this is pretty important, I think we'll just leave the camera on, and I will roll this in my little thing here. We'll see what it says. I rolled a 4, which becomes a 3 because, yeah, they lost by 1. And that cavalry unit would break. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Okay. So that being said, we take this off. This unit is now gone. And so it looks like I'm going to have to leave my Iberian general to his fate. Turn my Iberians around to face the oncoming threat from the Roman center and right. Or could I just make a move? then turn around to face. Because what do I have left of my center division? My center division started off with two cohorts. No, two cohorts. That's ridiculous. 2 units. Oh my. Oh my. We could be in trouble here. Yeah. I've got, basically I'm down to, oh my goodness, I had 2. So I'm at 50% of my units of my center division. My left division is broken, so my light infantry and light cavalry facing that cohort on my far left, they're going to have to leave the table. My general's division is got 2 units on the table that are shaken, and he's already lost a cavalry and 2 light infantry units. So he's over 50% losses? No, he's right at 50% because that would have been 6. Yeah. So we are in some dire straits here. Dire straits. I've kind of survived the Roman onslaught, but not quite. And I still have 2 divisions off table, which I've decided not to show up on turn 3, which was really needed. So let's move up and do the combat on my with my Iberian general and the light infantry of Illyrian allies for the Romans, and we'll see how that turns out. All right, we've reached the end of the Roman turn. Quite disastrous again for the Iberians. We had some success with the Iberian general on the far right, doing away with the Illyrians. The last bit of that one Roman division, it's completely gone. My unit down here in the middle, the Scutari that are supported by the central division commander and a unit of light infantry, did away with the Gallic cavalry. That was part of that division that the Iberian general destroyed. They ran rampant for a little bit, but they finally, just bad dice rolling and just too much damage. So they were taken off the table. So that whole division is gone. The Romans did lose a cohort in this combat, but the way it looks now, the Romans have completely thwarted any plans I had. My off-table divisions have not gotten onto the table. In my next Iberian phase, if they don't get on the table and tie up some of these Roman units, which they can't charge when they come onto the table, they can only come on and threaten. And so what's going to happen in the long run is my poor little unit here that is sitting all by itself, sorry, bumping the camera, is probably going to be chewed up, and then that will end at least 2 of the 3 divisions on the table, where the Iberian commander's other 2 units are shaken. So we got to take that into consideration too. So we need to probably bring this one to a close. It didn't turn out quite the way I would have liked it, but that's what happens. It wasn't as tactically challenging as I would have liked for it to have been. But then again, when a Roman division moves 3 moves across the table and bottles you up, and you have no recourse really, no room to maneuver, which the Iberian army definitely needs room to maneuver. Turned out pretty bad pretty quick. Although we did take out a division and, a few small units and stuff, but nothing the Romans couldn't replace with ease with money. So I think I'm going to end this battle on this turn, because even if the other units come onto the table, I'm not sure if I'm able, well, you know what? Me saying that, I think I'm just going to play out one more turn because if they come on the table, I'll have a chance. I will have a chance. As long as, well, no, I won't because it doesn't matter. They will have destroyed 3 divisions because my Army Commander's division has the majority of its units are shaken that are left on the table, plus the ones that are destroyed. Yeah, I think we're going to end this one here. I think it would be a moot point as far as the rules go and far my objective goes. So next game ought to be interesting. I hope my diplomacy rolls and lend me as much support as this one, or I'm going to have to put everything on the table and just try my best to try to bum rush these Romans off the table because, boy, the way this setup turned out, it was, pretty bad. Pretty bad for the Iberians. But that's it. That's the end of this video. I don't think I've done anything too egregious to put clarifications on the table or at the end of this video. So we're going to end this one here. If you like this sort of thing, do all that kind of stuff. Leave a thumbs up, like it, share it, and all that kind of crap. We have to appease the YouTube gods. But leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. Next game will to be interesting. I'm going to have to change my tactics up. These Romans are a tough nut to crack once they get you locked into place and into combat. I might have to revert to making a much bigger table, or I need to reduce the size of the game I play because the Iberians, when you're fighting in a phone booth like this with the Romans, it's very tough on the Iberian troops to pull off a win. All right, that's the end of this stuff. Enough of me whining about my poor performance. Everybody stay safe, stay well, and I will see you next time.